continuing on with our cadet class bodywork. A couple of little quirks with the camera. Every now and again you hit home and it goes to the complete wrong angle. It's highly recommended to set it to what you want, so we know it's this corner we want to look from. And then you can right click on the home icon and tell it to set the current view as home, and fit to view means when we click it, it should zoom to fit and put this in the middle. So now we won't get lost again with it facing a strange direction. Okay, so we have a canister holder and we have some main bodywork. We want the two to join first down here, and then we want a nice nose cone. So we'll join the base first. We'll use the advantage of Illustrator letting us retrospectively edit things. So what I'm going to do is to extend this one down to in line with the canister, and then I'm going to trim this part of the line here. Hopefully update by itself, which it has. If we ever got an error, it will be a matter of going inside extrusion and reselecting the profile that can't work out where it's meant to be. And when we look from here, we know we've ended it where the trench is, so it's not going to cut into that. Next tool we're going to use is called loft, and that will basically, as the little icon suggests, take two shapes and then smoothly join them between. So we'll start our first sketch for that. This is the easy part. We're going to start our sketch on the front surface of the canister holder, and then we're going to use something called project geometry. Click on there again. You'll notice it has traced it, but it's in yellow. Anytime you see yellow, it means it's referring to the geometry outside of that sketch. That sketch is actually done. Now we're going to create a new plane to start drawing on. And a plane is just like planes here, or a flat surface. We want our nose to come in maybe somewhere down here. It's up to you as you're designing, but there's nothing flat to click on there. We can click on the end, we can click on here, but there's nothing in between, so we'll make the plane first. So what we'll do is click on the arrow beneath plane and say offset, and then I'm going to click on my canister holder and put it roughly where I want it. I'm going to make mine 90 just to keep it neat. Okay, we're ready to start a 2D sketch and to click on that plane. So now we're drawing on here again. Now what we want to do is to match fairly closely the shape of the thing that we're joining up. We could do a star or something completely different and it will join it up, but in the interest of it being really smooth, it will work much better if we have similar shape. So what I'm going to do is to draw the exact shape. I'm going to draw it beneath the bodywork here. You might be frustrated at this point thinking I can't tell what I'm drawing on. That's because we're actually drawing in here, so the line I've drawn is here underneath. If we come to the view menu and click slice fix, it will go away the nose, and now I can see what I'm doing. That's just a temporary measure, of course. The nose is still there. Okay, back to the sketch. I'm going to have a line coming out, a straight line coming up, and then an arc joining the two. I'm not too worried about dimensions here, but I am worried about it being smooth. So I'm going to go a tangent constraint between those two, and if I do a coincident constraint between this one and this one, it locks it into being an exact quarter circle. I should still be able to click and drag and make this a little bit smaller. And I've made sure it's beneath the surface. Very similar shape, might bring this in just a little bit. Okay, and that sketch is finished. So basically what is the ingredients for loft between these two. So what I'm going to do is go to loft, and first thing it wants is the sections. That's our two sides. I actually find it easier to select those from over here. So I'm going to click to add a sketch. That's one of them. Click to add another sketch. Sketch 4. We'll see we've got our preview here. Click OK, and that will be enough to make the shape. But there's actually some really nice things built in where we can say we want a smooth transition or a condition. So we click on each one to find out which it is, and we want the one that's up at this end, which is sketch 3, and we change the option to a direct condition, and you can see now it tries to come out as a tangent. We could also do the same for that if we wanted this to come out as a tangent, but we don't in this case. You can fiddle with the angle and weight to change the way that curve goes, but for me I'm quite happy with this default, so I'm going to hit OK, and we have our loft. Now this work plane we're finished with for now, but we don't want to delete it, so we'll simply right click, turn off visibility. You can see our bodywork is coming along pretty nicely here. Next thing you might like to do is to play with the fillet tool. Fillet tool adds a previously square edge. It's pretty straightforward to use. For instance, I might like this front edge here, and I can drag it and make it as pointy or as small a fillet as I like. I'm going to go this one fairly pointy. And now I'll demonstrate one of the really nice things about Inventor versus 123D design. In this program we have something called variable fillets. So make sure you click variable before you click anything on the model, and we might do it along this nose here. Okay, so it's telling us we can have a start and an end radius. Oh, I've just destroyed that. Cancel and start again. Fillet, variable, now click on line. Wait for it to come up. Okay, so the start point is currently highlighted. I want it to be fairly small, so I'm going to click and set this at something like 3. And then down this end, I'm going to set it to something slightly bigger, maybe something like 10. And you can see that it starts as 3 and smoothly transitions towards 10 here. I can have as many points as I want along the way. I can tell it at 50% I want it to be 6 mil, and it will work that out for us. Really nice feature of this program. When you're done, hit OK. Like anything else, this can be edited later on if I just decide I want to change something. You can see our design is starting to get pretty complicated, so it's a really good working habit to start renaming things. So I'm going to call this one Canister Chamber. This one here, you see when I hover over it, it tries to give me a preview of what it is. Canister hole. Down here I have my body. Extrusion 4 is my tether trench. Loft is my canister nose. The fillets you may or may not want to name. Could become too confusing to come up with a logical name for each one. What you might like to do now is to go around and start filleting as much of these as you want before we move on to the next step, because it is easier to do it at this stage. Make sure you save your work frequently as well.